And we finally made it to the finale episode of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. This is a big day for all of us, and honestly, overall it's a really great finale. There are some missteps, which I'll get to, but it's pretty good. Before I get into it though, just quick let me plug my Buy Me a Coffee page. Go to buymeacoffee.com/ColeHershowski to donate directly to the channel, just for the price of a cup of coffee. I'm saving up for an HBO Max subscription so I can do a next day review of Wonder Woman 1984. So if you want to see that happen, once again, go over to buymeacoffee.com/ColeHershowsky to donate. There's also a link in the description and on my channel page. So we start off with Grid Battle Force evacuating all of Coral Harbor. So Zoe's mom asks Commander Shaw if she could talk to Zoe, and so Zoe ends up revealing herself to her mom. It's a nice moment and all, but it kind of feels out of place. It doesn't complete an arc or anything. It's not like there was tension between Zoe and her mom that was solved by this. It feels like they wanted a nice moment for Zoe in this episode, so they put this in. If I were them, maybe during the final Zord battle or something, Zoe would have had to briefly leave the Megazord to save her mom, who came back to Coral Harbor to try and save Zoe. Then maybe in the process of that, she could have revealed her identity and the moment could have been a little more intimate. But anyway, the Rangers have the Evox antivirus, so they just need to figure out a way to distract him. But the problem is that Evox doesn't take damage from Grid Battle Force weapons, so Devon has the idea of using weapons from the Ranger Vault to attack him since he's not immune. And that's honestly a really good, solid plan. I think that honestly, if they would have had some build-up beforehand and had that be the final battle, I would have been satisfied. In fact, it almost feels like the writers came up with that as the final battle at first, but then decided to do other stuff as well, and so it ended up just being something they did at the beginning. Though it is a little weird that they have SPD equipment. But Evox is just barely able to escape getting hit by the antivirus arrow and gets to the Morph-X tower where he begins to absorb all the Morph-X. Steel finds the antivirus arrow, and since the other Rangers are tied up fighting robots, he goes into the Morph-X tower. Evox has gone to the base of the tower that we saw in Grid Connection, where the Morph-X meets the Morphin Grid. It's apparently too intense to go near, but apparently Steel, being half robot, is able to get in and stab the arrow into Evox, but it's too late. Evox has become too powerful for the antivirus to work, and Evox attacks Steel's and he dies. I kind of have mixed feelings about Steel's death. Its problem is that it feels like the only reason he died was because they wanted to add some weight and they could get away with killing him because he's not really a person. But despite that, it's a good moment. Plus, what happens next is an absolutely fantastic scene. They come back to base and Devon uses Commander Shaw's walkie-talkie to tell everyone at Grid Battle Force that Steel is dead and that everyone is allowed to evacuate and the Rangers will stay and fight. But then, one by one, we see all the different Grid Battle Force departments say that they're going to stay and help. And it's honestly the best scene that Power Rangers has had in years. There are some issues with it, like I wish we actually saw these other departments reacting to Devon's message, other than just like right at the end, but it's a really touching moment. So Evox absorbs all the Morph-X and becomes this big giant thing that the Rangers fight with the Megazords. But they realize that they can't beat him like this, and the only way to truly stop him is to send Morph-X through them so that their next attack would have human DNA within the Morph-X and it wipes out Evox. So after the attack, all of the Morph-X is returning to the Morphin Grid. But as it turns out, Steel was saved within the Morphin Grid and comes back as a full human. It's nice that this happened, but I do have some notes. I don't really care that they brought Steel back. It's Power Rangers. Even if he's half robot, he has to come back to life. But they kind of built up Nate using the machine from the first episode to do it, and I wish they had done that. Like, maybe the Morph-X could have saved Steel and he would have appeared digitally inside the Grid Battle Force system, and Nate could use the machine to pull him out and make him human. Also, it's weird that he's now this kid with Steel's voice dubbed over it, and nobody thinks that's weird. Maybe they cast this kid to play him because he kind of looks like Nate and they're supposed to be brothers. But I would have preferred if either the voice actor for Steel was on set and then he could just talk in the Steel voice instead of it being dubbed, or having the suit actor there so his build would kind of be the same as Steel's, or even if they just had the kid talk in his normal voice. But it's a happy ending, so I'm not going to be too harsh on it. So we end with a flash forward to 1 year later where Ben and Betty, who seemingly have been promoted in some way, are helping Colonel Truman from the RPM universe bring in Scrozzle, who had apparently gone into the RPM universe and was living in the sewers of Corinth. It's nice to see the Colonel back, but then they revealed that Devin is now commander of Grid Battle Force, which is kind of weird. Devin never seemed to have any kind of interest in being commander. I mean, sure, he's developed as a leader, but that's not the same. Blaze mentioned that maybe he could be commander one day, like a couple episodes ago, but that's all we got. It would have been made a little more sense maybe if he was like, a big-time video game player or something, but I do kind of understand why they wouldn't go with that, because they wanted to show him growing a little bit and becoming more mature and no longer really being into video games that much. But we do end on a high note of Grid Battle Force throwing a surprise party for Steel. Also, now Coral Harbor runs on renewable energy rather than MorphX, which I guess is a good environmental message. So that's Evox Unleashed. What did you think about it? I thought it was a great finale to a great season, but I'm not done yet. I'll still be doing a review next week reviewing Beast Morphers Season 2. Plus, I'll also be making a video next week on a theory of mine as to how Evox could have survived. But that's all I have for you today. Remember to check out the link in the description for my Buy Me a Coffee page. Don't forget to subscribe for daily videos on the franchises you love, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.